Beep, 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 beep. Hello all, become a warrior teacher. Come and join us in August. Fill out the form, it's in the Dubris, okay? Subscribe, do the thing, subscribe, share, usual stuff, okay? What I've got is an article from 2021 that I thought was interesting, it piqued my interest, which is called ESGclarity.com. It comes from them, and it's an article that talks about Gen Z talent. And it's an interesting one because it's unusual. It's worth having a look. The link is in the Dubris, so you can follow along if you wish. And the comment was, it was written by Christine Dawson on the 25th of November 2021 and appeared on this website. I've no idea who they are, what they do. It just struck me as interesting, so I thought I'd share it with you, which is what I try and do here at the court of the EDI Jester. Now, so implement trans and non-binary, DE and I, or risk putting off Gen Z talent. So it's a sales document for the lunatics, okay? So the ESG or whatever the European Social Goals or whatever the hell it is, it's nonsense, that's pushing down from the top, BlackRock, all that crap. This is what's going on. Legal case for DE and I on the horizon too, according to St James's Place manager. The investment sector, so this is about finance, yeah? The investment sector risks failing to attract the new talent of Gen Z unless it can be an inclusive space for transgender and non-binary people, according to a report by LGBT Great. In turning the corner, shining a light on trans and non-binary diversity, equity and inclusion, LGBT Great found that 1.8% of Gen Z identify as transgender, which tells you that 1.04% of that is LARPers. Okay? Higher than any previous generation. You can't identify as something that doesn't exist. Wankers. Right, it also stated 94% of trans and non-binary talent will only join an employer if they are visibly supportive of trans and non-binary employees. Well, I'm so glad you've said that. Thank you so much. For God's sake, don't be visibly supportive of trans and non-binary people because they'll want to work for you. Right, and the idea is you keep them out of the workplace because they're completely infected with gender identity ideology and queer theory. And it'll be critical race theory as well because they can't help themselves. These power and oppression, victim movement wallahs, right? So they've given you the answer there. Don't appear friendly to them, then they won't want to work for you. There's the answer. To address the issue, investment companies need to ensure they have appropriate gender identity and corporate allyship in diversity, equity and inclusion strategies. LGBT Great said, speaking at a panel discussion hosted by LGBT Great on 19th November 2021, BlackRock Director of US and Canada DEI Client Engagement, Erica Sarametta, Fidelity Associate, Ember Overall, and St James's Place Program Manager, Business Change, Emma Palethorpe, explained why gender identity, rather than just sexual orientation, and corporate allyship are crucial. The loons are there, they're at this, so this 1.8% of the population who you desperately need because they're so good. Well, actually, the number of people who are so damn good in a population, of any given population, is small. It's at the top, isn't it? But of course, when you remove meritocracy, you can start picking them because they are trans and non-binary or mad. Why don't you just put an advert saying, right, nutters, we need nutters. New job available, nuttery. Come and join us. If you're in a power and oppression narrative wallah, if you absolutely spend your time slathering your bits in victimhood, come and join us. Because we need you in our organisation to bring it to its knees. No organisation who is in their right mind would employ these people. It's that simple. Look for the power and oppression narratives. What they're talking about is the 1.8% who identify as transgender or non-binary. They're easy to spot. You can easily spot them and go, yeah, ain't happening. Because they are dangerous to a business culture in which meritocracy matters. Because they believe in equity. Get it? Right? So there'll be equity wallahs. You've got to ask questions that tell you whether or not these people are equity wallahs. And if they are, you need to keep them out of your business and organisation because their only reason for existence is to claim victimhood and then to ensure that you will begin dismantling the meritocratic ability of your institution to achieve the best it can do, to make money for its staff, its investors, its employers, every other organisation it worked with, and to better the society in which we exist. That's what you need to do. Keep them out. Nutters, right? Okay, so what you've then got, which I think you should go and have a look at because it's really interesting, is they then break down some of the diversity plans and how they're going to do it, right? So that they're able to make sure this stuff gets rightly embedded in your organisation. Now, there's a few examples which I'll give you now, just for us to have a quick think. of the kind of questions that they were asked. So they asked these people, this group, the questions: what are the top barriers you have faced in financial services? Right? To which Meritocracy responds: in the beginning, I was my own barrier. So I was in an organization. I think I'd come to an understanding of who I was and who I was becoming for real now. The authentic self coming screaming out of the closet. And it was almost like, where's the female voice in finding my new female voice? You want to bet this person's a man? My presence, my voice in being who I am in the room, being accepted. It's just like any other female out there, you arse piece. I hope you are a female, because if you're saying that, you're a liar. And that's always been a barrier in financial services. That glass ceiling has been broken there for decades and is being broken now by many, many facets and races too. Facets and races. What? That was just for me, for overcoming my own fear and realising I'm capable of doing this. Now I can help people do this as well. Pale Thought responded: I want to look at that question slightly differently and think about the enablers. It took me a long time to find the right organisation where I felt I could transition. One of the signals I got from an organisation was that the fact they've appointed the head of diversity and inclusion, and that to me suggests that this was a place that takes diversity seriously, actually wants to make a difference. And then off the back of my transition, I've been able to set up an LGBT network. That's a first sign you've got a problem. If your organisation has an affinity group, close it down. It doesn't matter if that affinity group is for gay people, women, trans, non-binary, victim nutters. It doesn't matter who it's for. If you have an affinity group, close it down. There is only one affinity group that you should have. Only one, right? And that should be for people with a registered disability who can help you to ensure that they have access to where they need to be. That's the only affinity group you need. So you've got a large organisation of say 50,000 employees, you should have a disability network. So they can go, look, they keep inviting us to this meeting and we can't get up the stairs. Or they keep inviting us to this meeting, but the room's so stifling and I have an issue that means I can't cope with the heat. That's the only one you should have. Everything else doesn't matter. If you have an affinity group in your organisation, shut it down. Do it today. That means the NHS right through to the DWP. And then they ask the question, what else can colleagues do to be allies? Start promoting having pronouns in your email signature. This is what they'll do. This is the template. It's not just trans colleagues who are doing that. I have cis colleagues doing that, and it helps to normalise and make people comfortable with that concept. This is so full of grammatical errors, this bloody thing. And Meritocracy says, be part of the network, educate yourself, get a little flag, LGBTQ flag, put it on your desk, make a representation. BlackRock is stopping people from getting funding if they don't play the game, if they don't do this shit. You've got to speak up, people. You've got to speak up. Now, if you meet somebody for the first time who doesn't know anything about this and you go, it's all BlackRock and it's all madness and it's all a conspiracy, they'll think you're mad. But the truth of the matter is, this is being enforced by the same kind of nonsense as the Stonewall Index. Do you remember? Well, we'll tell you how you're doing and then you'll pay us more money to train you and then we'll tell you how we're doing. This entire thing is a scam. The entire thing. So, from my perspective, I'm saying to you, don't play ball. If you've got a business, if you have an organisation, do not have affinity groups. Do not make who they are identity-wise an important part of their work. They come in, they do the job, they get paid, they behave in a sociable way, they tolerate others' views, and if they can't do that, fire them. It's not complicated. Okay? Just keep the trans and non-binary nutters out and your business will be okay. I just thought that was interesting. Gosh. The corporate monster making money. What a surprise. See you later.